Hey everyone, welcome to episode 96 of the Vita Cast. I'm your host, Tyler Oltoff, and with me as usual, it's Kyle Wakeling. What's up, Kyle?
Buongiorno, Tyler. How are you?
Très bien.
Buongiorno is not French.
You said,
But
how are you? And that's all I can speak, Kyle. I can't speak any other language. Don't you dare bring me down.
get fancy, you bastard.
I thought we were just going to go full out French for a bit, so I was waiting for it, but you didn't catch on. You just talking shit about me for not speaking the right language. Starting off strong.
That's what happens, Tyler.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, how are you?
I'm pretty good.
That's good.
Better than you, apparently, because I've thrown you a curveball.
Yeah. Well, I'm okay, I guess. It's gonna be a long week. It's inventory at my work right now, so.
Ugh, fun.
No, not at all. It is terrible. Or should I say terrible? No?
No.
Okay.
No, just no.
Anyways, yeah, we're the Vita Cast. We talk about the Vita occasionally. So, Kyle, I'm just throwing it right to you because it's just you and me today. What have you been playing on that Vita?
Well, actually not a whole lot on my Vita this week. I played a lot on the PlayStation TV, though, so that was nice.
Yeah.
I've been playing Killzone Mercenary again on single player, so I played quite a bit of that. Got some videos up, got some videos to go up still, so working on it. I also played some Ridge Racer, oldie but a goodie. Got a video up of that as well. It's just such a good arcade racer, and I wish that I had room for it on my Vita. And I wish that it worked on the PlayStation TV without extra little shit. So yeah, I'm kind of in a rough place with that, but I got to play it for a bit this week, so that was nice. Also played a ton of Hot Shots Golf. Just loving it, Tyler.
Oh yeah.
Broke some records for courses. Just really having a good time playing all over with the different cats. Cat from Gravity Rush, and then Toro and Kuro, so it was pretty badass.
Nice.
What else did I play? Oh, I played some Ollie Ollie this week, or Ollie Ollie 2 anyway. Did at least, I bet, 5 or 6 daily grinds. I know I missed one, maybe 2. So yeah, been catching up on my Ollie Ollie 2. And I know there's something else. Oh, Amnesia Memories. I tried to clean up some trophies, but I failed. What about you, Tyler?
Well, I've been playing a lot of Persona 4 Dancing All Night. Still pushing through the story mode in that game, and still quietly enjoying. That's not a word. Quietly. I'm enjoying it a lot. There we go. English. It's a fun game, and I really enjoy the story. I think I talked a lot about it last week, so I won't go too into it, but yeah, it's a fun game. Also played a bit of Farming Simulator 16. I got a code for it, so I was like, why not? Let's do some farming, and that's an interesting game. It's kind of weird though. Like, it doesn't really explain how to play the game. So like when I got into
Secure
it,
farm shit.
pretty much. And I don't really know farming lingo, so like I don't really know exactly what you're supposed to use to start like doing everything. So like the game has like a preset world or whatever, so you just hop onto it and you've already got one farm or a field that is needing to be I don't even know the words. Like, you just need to get all the wheat that is in this field and put it in your truck and sell it. And then there's another farm or field that is like covered in grass, so you have to cut it and bale it and do all that. But I'm like, what in the world do you use to do any of this stuff? So I was a little confused at first, and then I was like, you know what, I should probably just look at the digital manual that comes with every Vita game and see if they have tips or some type of something in there to show me what I'm supposed to be doing. And sure enough, there's where all your information is. So if you're new to that game or genre or series, I would highly recommend hitting that manual button on the top of the live area screen to read up on it before you dive into it. Other than that, after you get past that little hump, it's a pretty interesting game. It's definitely one of those time killer type games, I think. So if I'm bored and I just want to do some farming type stuff, then I'll jump on that and do that. But I didn't really play too much of it. I also played a little bit of Soul Sacrifice Delta, again, just clearing missions, the usual, nothing too exciting. Also, I played Super Meat Boy. That just came out. You'll hear about it in the new releases. But it's Super Meat Boy. I love it. It's hard. I played it back when it came out on the 360, and man, that game is difficult. And I'm still pretty early on in the Vita version, so it hasn't gotten too challenging. It's a little challenging, but of course, you know, as you play the first couple levels, they're not going to be super hard, because then you'd get pissed off before you even actually get into the meat of the game. See what I did there, Kyle? See what I did? Did you see it? Did you see it? Anyways, I gotta play more of that. It's a fun, challenging game. So, what else? Oh yeah, Invoker's Tournament. I played a little bit of that. Working on my review for it, and hopefully we'll have that done soon. That game it's interesting. You'll hear my thoughts hopefully soon. Other than that, I believe that would be all I played. Yeah, that's it. So, there you go. Let's jump into the reviews. And normally I take the first review, but I'm going to make Kyle read it because this is the game Kyle's more excited about than I am. And then the next game is something I'm actually playing and already am excited about. So, Kyle, read that first review.
Fine. Alright, so the first review this week is Dengeki Bunko Fighting Climax, which was reviewed by Adrian. He gave it a 3.9 out of 5, and he says, quote, "If you took away the licensing and crossover magic, all you're left with is a very average and competent fighter. With very basic moves and a button masher design, I'm not sure whether it's really aimed towards a fighting game enthusiast. With that being said, fans of Dengeki Bunko universe will sure to love the fan service and attention to detail that the game delivers, but fighting game fans will probably be better served elsewhere." End quote, and I butchered it, but whatever. Yeah, I'm definitely interested in the game, despite Adrian's words here. It has a lot of anime and manga characters that I'm very familiar with, so I don't really care if it's not that serious of a fighter. I'm not that serious of a fighting game player.
So maybe it'll be perfect.
There you go.
All right. Yeah, I'm not really big into fighting games. The most entertaining fighting game I've played well, I guess there's 3 on the Vita that I enjoy, which I wouldn't consider fighters. But PlayStation All-Stars, Nidhogg, and oh god, what is that one? Dive Kick. Those ones are so much fun, but yeah, completely different to this game.
Yes, very different.
So, all right. Well, yeah, definitely check out the full review to get more about that. And if you're interested in fighting games, then you never know. Anyways, next up, we have Persona 4 Dancing All Night, reviewed by James, and he gave it a 4.9 out of 5. And he says, quote, "Persona 4 Dancing All Night story is so wonderfully crafted, it deserves to be placed up there on the list of the best PlayStation Vita games. Coincide that with a new gameplay style for the series that highlights one of the best parts of Persona 4 Golden, the music, and you've got a juggernaut of a game. It was a little bittersweet as this is the last game that these characters will appear in together, but I see it as an ode to fans of Persona 4 Golden. I had a constant smile on my face while I played through this game, and if you're a fan of Persona, I'm sure you will too." End quote. So yeah, he pretty much sums it up right there. It's definitely a lot different than any Persona game you've ever played, but it's so cool to go through another story with these characters that you've come to know so much of. So that alone makes me, just like he says, having a smile throughout the entire game. That's what I've been doing this entire time too. It's exciting. And the dancing part is fun too. Like, it's a rhythm game, so if you're into rhythm games, then that's a bonus. But if you're not the biggest excuse me, if you're not the biggest rhythm game fan, I think the visual novel style storytelling is really good. So if you're a fan of visual novels, then perhaps you should definitely get on this one because the visual novel telling is pretty good. But yeah, I've talked a lot about Persona 4 Dancing All Night, so read the full review. It's a pretty damn good score for a game, so you can't go wrong. Kyle needs to get it.
Maybe.
Come on, Kyle. That
Maybe.
review doesn't sell you.
I don't know. Sometimes like stuff like this like ruins the whole like, thing for me. So like I'll play something like this and playing it will ruin Persona 4 Golden for me.
It's not ruining it.
Yeah, I know, but that's your perspective.
That's true.
It might
That's
like
true.
because a lot of the times I like things that are kind of unique and weird, and then they'll make like something and people will be like, "Oh, that was so good," and I'll be like, "That was kind of like this, but I really hated it, and it kind of ruined it." So
Yeah.
I don't know if this is ruining it for me territory or not, because I do like rhythm games, but at the same time, it just doesn't seem like it would go together at all.
Well, without spoiling, the way they start the story mode, I think how they tell it is a very good way of making it believable. Like if you think about it, like a Persona game with dancing, how the hell does that work? Like the way they get it going in the visual novel portion makes sense.
I just don't know how that could make sense. I'd have to like borrow somebody's Vita with it on there and like play it for like a half hour or something just to feel it. I don't know, feel it out. I don't know, man. They need a demo for sure. A demo would have done well for this game because it's kind of one of those really kind of odd, weird things that people might like if they knew what it was about, but you kind of got to be cautious because it might ruin shit for you.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of goes back to where I think it might have been last week or the week before, where someone was saying like Persona 4 Dancing All Night is $50. What the hell? Like, why? You know, like it kind of makes sense. Like that reason alone, that this is just a weird take on a Persona game. So why are they charging so much for it? Like, I think it would have been better if it was a little cheaper, just because of more people would jump on board. Whereas that price tag is making a lot of people hesitant. So, I don't know. Anyways, like I said, we talked a lot about Persona. So, let's jump into the next thing we got here, and that is the new releases. So, for North America, did you forget? I think you forgot one, Kyle. You did.
I didn't, according to the store and the PSN post. So, I'm not sure what the hell happened there, but it wasn't there when I last looked, and I've checked 3 times tonight.
Well, it's there now, so.
Well, balls.
Anyways,
slow, and it wasn't in the list, so
yeah.
Fuck them.
Yeah. Anyways, let's get to those new releases. For North America, we're getting Dengeki Bunko Fighting Climax for $29.99, Super Meat Boy for $14.99, and the game that we were just talking about that we didn't mention, that would be Farming Simulator 16, which I believe is $14.99. I got it a code, so I don't actually know if that's the real price. I'm pretty sure it is, though. But anyways, there you go. North American list. Kyle, what are them Europeans getting?
All right. Well, there's a big list here for Europeans, but some of them are catch-ups. Although some of them are catch-ups people have been bitching about. So there you go. First up, we have 1001 Spikes, which is £11.99 or €14.99. We don't have Australian prices this time. I don't know why. Somebody fucked up. It wasn't me. I didn't do it. We're skipping them. Next up, we have Actual Sunlight, which is £4.49 or €5.49. Dengeki Bunko Fighting Climax, which is £24.99 or €29.99. Farming Simulator 16, £29.99 or €34.99. The Quiet Collection, £4.49 or €5.49. And Super Meat Boy, which is £12.99 or €15.99. So 6 games there in Europe, lots to buy for you Europeans. but not so much for us. Boo.
Yeah. Well, anyways, it's the beginning of the month, so you know what that means, right, Kyle?
What is it again, Tyler? Oh, okay, yeah, the PlayStation Plus titles.
That would be right. So, what are we getting, Kyle, for PlayStation Plus?
Well, this month we're actually getting 4 games thanks to the magic of cross-buy. We're getting Broken Age, we're getting Kickbeat, we're getting Kung Fu Rabbit, and we're getting Super Meat Boy. So 1 brand new release there, 3 old but good releases I hear. I haven't actually played any of them, so I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that one, but yeah, not bad. 4 releases. What are you thinking, Tyler?
Well, I already talked about Super Meat Boy, so you already know I have that one. Kung Fu Rabbit, not really interested in it, but I may queue it up just to have it. And I got a review code for both of the other games, Kickbeat and Broken Age, so I already have them. But Kickbeat's pretty fun. I know you don't like them rhythm games, but this one's an interesting take on fighting and rhythm together, and you can actually use your own music. So it has like a music generator, or not music generator. It has like a, you know what I'm talking about. You get a song, and it will generate a rhythm thing for it. And I don't really remember how well it did it. But then again, I listen to like metal, so you got fast drums and whatnot. So I don't know if it's that accurate on those types of songs, but it might work pretty well on a slower rock song or R&B and stuff like that. I don't know. I never tested that out though, because like I said, metal. And Broken Age, I played a little bit of it, but it just wasn't really for me. I don't know. Just didn't feel that great to me. So, what about you, Kyle?
Well, I'd like to lodge a complaint, Tyler.
And?
Against you for never listening to me.
Why?
I don't like rhythm games. Is that what you just said to me?
You what?
You just said when you were talking about Kickbeat that I don't like rhythm games. Did you not?
I might have. I don't know.
You did say that, Tyler, and that is complete bullshit. I said I don't know how Persona is gonna go with the rhythm game. I never said I didn't like rhythm games, and there are actually rhythm games I'm hyped for right now, and rhythm games I'm playing right now. So get out of the podcast, Tyler. Get out.
All right.
You're fired.
Bye.
All right, so the rest of the cast is just going to be me. This is going to be the I Hate Tyler version.
You want me to keep recording?
Yeah, of course.
Oh,
I want you out of the podcast, but I didn't say stop recording.
Oh, okay. I see how it is.
Yeah.
I don't know if it works that way, Kyle.
Well, fine. I guess you can read the news, so then that's less work for me.
I'll read my news, and you can read your news.
Fine.
Yeah. Okay, I might have said that. I'm sorry. I apologize, Kyle. But I'm just upset.
That's okay. I just wanted to call you out on that, because, no.
Well, I'm just upset that you're not going to get this Persona game right off the bat. But anyways, what about these games, Kyle? Come on, get into it.
Well, I hear Kung Fu Rabbit is sort of like a less intense Super Meat Boy, and I'm not sure Super Meat Boy is my game, so I'm not sure I'll be playing that one. But I've had my eye kind of on Kickbeat for a while, so I'll definitely be trying that one at least. And Broken Age, I'm kind of on the edge about, so I might boot it up and kind of see what it's about and take my chances. So we'll see.
Well, all right. Go get it, girl.
All right, on to the news, Tyler.
Yeah, let's do that. All right, first up, sports fans who have been waiting for an arcade-style baseball game to come to the Vita are going to have to wait even longer. At one time, it looked like Super Mega Baseball was going to be that game, but in a recent announcement, it has been stated that a Vita release at this point is looking unlikely. When Super Mega Baseball was first announced last September for the PS3 and PS4, many people immediately asked if this game was also coming to the Vita. Scott Drader, co-founder of Metalhead Software, replied saying that indeed a Vita version was in the works. Recently, however, Drader has posted in the Super Mega Baseball forums that perhaps he spoke a bit too soon. Development was still early on and work on the Vita version has not yet begun. He stated, quote, As it turns out, it became clear that there was going to be a lot more effort required to do a proper Vita version than we had anticipated, especially in getting the game up to 60 frames per second, which we considered a requirement for Super Mega Baseball. End quote. Drader said that balancing the workload for maintaining the game on the platforms it's already on is more than enough than what his small studio can handle. Therefore, the time, money, and resources needed to port it over to the Vita while optimizing performances just isn't there. He concluded his post by saying, quote, "So for those of you that had been asking, it's only fair to let you know that at this stage a Vita release is looking unlikely," end quote. And another one bites the dust.
Womp, womp. Moving on. Alrighty, the latest spin-off in the Hyperdimension Neptunia universe, Hyperdimension Neptunia vs. Sega Hard Girls, is set to launch in Japan on November 26th, and in a recent preview on Dengeki PlayStation, a new class system has been revealed for the game. The title, which features Sega's official mascot girls, will feature a class change system which allows players to switch the class of their characters. Each class will have its own individual levels, so you'll be able to tackle missions in a variety of different ways using several different skills. One of the main characters in the game, Iffy, has been given more details, such as a history influence degree, which allows her to change her appearance based on the era of the story she appears in, as well as a battle system known as Fever Time, which can interrupt enemies' turns in battles. Also, the official website for Hyperdimension Neptunia vs. Sega Hard Girls has been updated to share details on the game's battle system. Here's the latest from the website regarding on-screen elements. You've got your attack order, displayed in pink in the top left of the screen. This shows you the order in which party members and enemies will attack, with one on top being the active character. You've got the action gauge. The green half-circle meter that you can see in the right part of the screen will fill up when you move, attack, perform skills, and item commands. And the fever gauge. The orange part displayed in the right of the screen is the fever gauge, and attacks will increase it. Once this gauge reaches 100%, a rainbow gem will appear. Acquiring this gem will throw you into fever time mode. Once the rainbow gem appears, you can grab it by jumping into it. While in fever time, you will gain the following effects. First, all party member stats increase by 10%. Second, EXE drive becomes usable. Doing so depletes the fever gauge. And third, the enemy's turn goes away. Set to release in Japan on November 26th, keep an eye on the Vita Lounge for all things Hyperdimension Neptunia vs. Sega Hard Girls, as we'll be sure to bring you more in the coming weeks. Moving on. Although the Vita never got Dragon Crest Heroes, the World Trees Woe, and the Blight Below, some interesting news regarding its sequel, which is Vita-bound, appears to have surfaced. The main hero of the first game, Lucius, appears to not be returning for Dragon Quest Heroes 2, as a tweet from his voice actor, Tori Matsuzaka, appears to confirm. This tweet follows a comment from series creator Yuji Horii, who recently stated that the game would have an entirely new cast and settings. The game was recently revealed to be nearly completed, as confirmed at TGS, with only the voice acting left to be completed. Be sure to stay tuned, as we'll be releasing details as soon as we hear anything. Pixel Noir has been successfully funded on Kickstarter, which means that it's now on its way into PlayStation Vita, and presently stretch goals are currently being planned for the campaign. Alongside hitting its crowdfunding target, developers SWD Tech Games have revealed that Secret of Mana soundtrack producer Hiroki Kokuda will be working with the team to provide some original music for the turn-based RPG. The game is set to launch in November 2016, and at this time has 14 days left to go before its Kickstarter campaign ends, so if you want to throw your money at it, go ahead.
Aqua Plus have revealed the first week's sales figures for their most recent release, Utawaru... Damn it, Kyle. Utawaru Mono? I don't...
Want some help, Tyler?
Yeah.
Utawaru Mono.
Nailed it. False mask, and the results are quite admirable. In its first 4 days on the market, the game managed to ship a massive 100,000 units, with sales spreading across all three PlayStation formats. However, Media Crate's Japanese chart shows that the Vita version sold best, with it debuting at number 4 in the Japanese charts. Nice to see the Vita version doing so well now. Nobody likes a game that's stuck in development hell, especially when it's been crowdfunded on a website like Kickstarter. Sadly, this seems to be the current situation with JRPG Project Phoenix. A recent update on the game's Kickstarter page has revealed some further information on the game's development, pointing out that they initially mentioned that programming was a major issue for the development of the game when the campaign started. They revealed that they had a specific person in mind for the development of the game, but sadly it never materialized, and now they're currently looking for a programmer for the game. The game programmer in mind who they had been waiting on is David Clark, who recently worked on Xbox One title Ori and the Blind Forest, who is said to be particularly skilled in Unreal Engine 4 development. Sadly, their inability to secure the programmer has left the team was a bunch of unfinished assets, textures, and localization. Upon being asked about refunds for backers who are unhappy about the current status of the project, the team behind the game, CIA Inc., said the following, quote, "The policy for not being able to refund on the grounds of delay is the very fact that once we do dish out refunds, it will have to come out of my personal money. Contracts are drawn out, and some payments are already made via CIA. Therefore, I'll have to take personal responsibility. However, I personally do not have enough money myself to refund everyone if everyone asks for a refund. This is why we have to take the position of not giving out refunds at all, otherwise it will not be fair to everyone." End quote. The game's Kickstarter campaign ended 2 years ago and raised over $1 million, so it's no wonder people are getting salty. It's been quite a while since we've last heard about V3's Bokosuka Girls Tatsunoka Gakuin Climax? But now we've got word on that the game is set to include swimsuit battles. Bokosuka Girls is a game about a group of high school girls and aspiring idols who equip J-suits to save the world from those who don evil Dokuro wear and their master, the ruler of the fallen army. The primary method of victory includes beating the clothes off your opponent, so it's no wonder that this game also has a bikini battle element. It has just been revealed via Famitsu that Bokosuka Girls, that game, will be coming to Vita with water-based swimsuit battles alongside the regular ones. So if you're looking for more reason to keep your eye on this one, there you go. Bokosuka Girls was originally set to release this year, though it's worth noting that the Famitsu article doesn't mention a release date, so things may have changed with regards to timing.
Alright, moving on. Split Checks Off recently had an interview with Weekly Famitsu in which it talked about a few of its upcoming Vita games. In the interview, Mitsutoshi Sakurai, president and CEO of Spike Chunsoft, talked about some of the new mechanics they were toying with for Danganronpa 3, plus its plans for 2016. Interviewer: "Let's talk about Danganronpa and Mystery Dungeon." CEO: quote, "This new Danganronpa will be the first time we release Danganronpa on a stationary console, PS4. So we're considering a number of interesting mechanics. I want you to look forward to it." End quote. Interviewer: "What's happening from 2016 and after?" CEO: quote, "We're not at the level where we can announce anything, but we've started work on the development of a completely new title. Additionally, we have the latest entry in the Zero Escape series, which Kotaro Ichikoshi is making. We're making various other advancements too." End quote. It's unclear whether the mechanics Spike Chunsoft is considering for Danganronpa 3 will be used on the Vita version, or if the new project will make an appearance on the handheld either. But you can be sure we'll let you know anything we hear. The folks at Virtual Toys have now announced that their latest game in a series of games based on licensed characters will be Phineas and Ferb Day of Doofenshmirtz, featuring the upstart geniuses from Disney Channel's popular show. Doofenshmirtz is up to his old tricks, and this time he has invented a weapon that turns ordinary household appliances into monsters for his minion army. It's up to Phineas and Ferb, as well as their pet platypus Perry, to concoct new inventions in their workshop to defeat this new menacing threat. The story, which was created in cooperation with Disney, will take the boys to a number of locations from Danville and the tri-state area to the center of the earth. The game promises to be filled with explorable areas, treasure to collect, and puzzles to solve, all while battling against evil toasters. According to Sony, some of the key features you'll experience are: explore 5 challenging, exciting environments, from Phineas and Ferb's local neighborhood to a secret flying base and even the center of the Earth. Play as Phineas, Ferb, and Perry the Platypus, helped and hindered by other favorite characters from the show. Discover secret areas in each stage and revisit locations to hunt down hidden treasures. Craft new, more powerful ammo in Phineas and Ferb's workshop. Collect tokens during the adventure to spend on new outfits and ammo types. Complete the game to unlock cool costumes, then design your own AR robot and make it dance before your eyes with the rear camera on the PS Vita system. And use the touchscreen and analog sticks of the PS Vita system to control the action. Virtual Toys have previously released Muppet Movie Adventures and Looney Tunes Galactic Sports, neither of which quite lived up to their full potential. We'll find out how good Phineas and Ferb is when it launches on November 4th. Moving on. Super Meat Boy is well known for its soundtrack. However, it seems that it won't be the exact same on the Vita. Tom Ruffines, co-founder of Team Meat, made the announcement on the PlayStation blog. Ruffines revealed that the developers couldn't secure the original soundtrack's rights for the Vita version, but they have rescored it with new artists. Ridiculon, who worked with The Binding of Isaac Rebirth, is scoring the majority of the soundtrack. The group rescored the Hell, Forest, the Capture, the End, the intro music, and the title screen parts. David Scatliff, who had songs in the popular Hotline Miami, also scored some of the songs in the game, including The Hospital and Salt Factory. And lastly, Laura Shigehara, who scored Plants vs. Zombies, rescored The Cotton Alley. Super Meat Boy is available now on Vita and is free for PlayStation Plus members.
A third Sword Art Online title has been confirmed to be coming to PlayStation Vita next year in Japan. That's right.
Oh, yeah!
Yeah. I feel like it's a bit weird to announce so soon. But anyways, that's right, guys.
It's all good.
What? It's all good?
It's all good. It's all good.
All right.
We'll take all we can get.
That's true. That's very true. Before us in the West even get our hands on Lost Song, yet another Sword Art Online game has been announced for our favorite handhelds and PS4. This time, however, it seems as if we'll be seeing an Aincrad's origin story. That's really all we've got for now, though I expect now that the cat's out of the bag on the announcement, we'll be getting some more information and media soon. Sword Art Online Hollow Realization is due out in Japan sometime next year, with no news yet on a Western localization. Bandai Namco Entertainment has revealed an end-of-year release date for its new Mobile Suit Gundam title. This news comes via the official website for the game, which now notes that Mobile Suit Gundam Extreme vs. Force will drop in Japan on December 23rd, priced at 6,800 yen, plus tax, for either the digital or physical versions. It's also worth noting that grabbing a first print copy will net you a product voucher code for Gundam Barbotos 4th Form, a likeness which will be making the jump to the game from the currently running Mobile Suit Gundam Iron-Blooded Orphans anime. As the fans would say, so many Gundam games, so little time, and no localizations. The PS Vita is no stranger to puzzlers, and there will be soon a new addition to the family. The oddly yet brilliantly named 2D puzzler Red Game Without a Great Name will be making the jump from iOS to PS Vita. As you would expect, the game is covered in a color red and is set in a steampunk world. You control a mechanical bird as it attempts to deliver post. The art style can be compared to that of Limbo, with silhouettes filling the screen as well as an array of different pieces of machinery. There are 60 levels to navigate, and each one is filled with a host of differently deadly contraptions, all set on ending our mechanical friend's journey. The game also invokes memories of the Swapper, as you'll need to use your ability to teleport in any direction to bypass each and every obstacle. There's no confirmed release date for the Red Game Without a Great Name, but we can expect it on PlayStation Vita in the near future.
Alright, last piece of news, guys. The hack-and-slash Gorefest Lane was confirmed for PlayStation Vita after a successful Kickstarter campaign earlier this year. Originally, developer Wolfbrew Games had targeted a September release, which was then changed to early 2016. However, a recent Twitter post has revealed that we will have to wait even longer for the action platformer. Boo. The PlayStation Vita version of the game will release simultaneously with the Xbox One, PS4, and Wii U versions, which all fit under the console release window. So it looks like we won't be bludgeoning any ghouls on our favorite handheld until the middle of 2016. But the glorious teasers and stunning visuals make us believe it will be worth the wait. Slaying takes inspiration from hack and slash games from the 80s and 90s. It is filled to the brim with delightfully gory action as you destroy a host of hellish beings. You play as Bathorin as he hacks his way through flesh and bone to liberate seven great towers from 7 deadly overlords. There will also be a heavy metal soundtrack just to make the experience even more memorable and to please Tyler, obviously.
Yeah.
That's all we've got for news for now, but, we'll be back next week for more of that. Alrighty, I think we should move on to talking points. Tyler, what do you think?
Yeah, that'd be a smart thing to do.
Alright, so as usual, we have announced release games we're looking forward to from the week.
Wow.
What are you looking forward to, Tyler?
For me, it's probably just going to be that Sword Art Online Hollow Realization game. Of course, it's still not even out, or the Lost Song game's not even out over here yet. But hey, more Sword Art Online. You can't argue with that, right, Kyle?
Abso-freaking-lutely, Tyler.
Yeah, wait. That's so confusing.
I'm agreeing that you can't argue with it. So it is a little bit weird there, but yeah, I'm agreeing with you, so it's all good.
Okay, you threw me off. Anyways, also, I'm not proud to say it, but I'm going to say it anyways. That Phineas and Ferb game, I'll give it a shot. You never know. Easy Platinum, maybe? Reminds me of that SpongeBob game. Terrible game. Easy Platinum. Yeah. I do what I want. Other than that, there's not really too much from the news, at least this week, that I'm too excited for. I mean, I already have Super Meat Boy. We talked a little bit about that. And the other games, just, I don't know. What about you, Kyle?
Well, we already know about Danganronpa 3. That goes without saying for both of us. Sword Art Online Hollow Realization. I'm right there with you. I'm excited for it. Although I think that's a friggin' stupid name. So,
Really?
Just going on the record with that. Hollow Realization? Come on. Sounds like the realization is hollow. So it's like, it doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
Like,
maybe it's just bad translation. Unless that's the
no,
exact...
that's the translation. Like if you read it, it's English. The way that they like write it on the thing, it's like horror realization or something like that. Like it's
okay. Maybe
you know what it is.
It's their misunderstanding of what it actually means.
I don't know. It's a shit name though, Tyler.
All right. I'm just shooting out some ideas.
So yeah, excited for that. It's got to be coming over here. It might not. You never know, but
I think it's guaranteed to. Almost.
Yeah, it's
like 90%.
Yeah, we'll say 90%. So yeah, definitely looking forward to that. Even if it doesn't come over here, I'm buying it though. So got my money. And I'm kind of excited, but kind of not because I don't think it's gonna make the jump over here. But Bokosuga Girls looks interesting, to say the least. You know me, I'm into those ecchi games, so...
Yeah, you are.
What can I say?
You're a dirty girl.
I can't help it, Tyler. It's in my blood.
Yeah. Hey, no one's faulting you for it. Do what you do.
I do what I want, as you say.
Well, all right.
So, yeah.
Let's jump into that next talking point. What do we got?
All right. So, just a little something I want to mention here. Firmware 3.55 went out, I think it was actually last Wednesday morning. I think, just as the podcast ended. Anyway, alongside the PlayStation 4's 3.00 update. And it ruined my day, Tyler.
Uh-oh.
So, they had a little, let's call it magic trick out there. That enabled all the games to play on PlayStation TV that don't. Well, actually, not all the games. Let's say 95% of the games, because Tetris Ultimate still wouldn't work. and I'm a little salty about that. Just even that it wouldn't work with the trick. But anyway, so they had this trick, and then of course Sony busts out their trick blocking useless firmware update and blocks the trick. So there's that. And then that compounds with the fact that normally I would have thought, well, I'll just, leave my PlayStation TV offline, not worry about it, go on with my business for a little while before updating. But something awesome in the way of the God Eater Resurrection demo dropped in Japan on October 2nd, which was the night of the podcast. And I had to get my grubby little hands on it. So I made a couple videos, and then I swapped to my Japanese account and cried a little. So that was my week. And then I played some God Eater Resurrection demo, and I got a little happier. So it was worth it in the fact that I got to play that demo and kind of experience that game, because I'm not really all that familiar with the God Eater series, and I kind of wanted to get a taste of what everyone's been saying, bring this game over for. And it kind of reminds me of Freedom Wars without the maneuver gear. You're definitely relegated to the ground, but you got that whole melee weapon and gun combo, so it's unique, and I think it was worth the jump, but I'm still a little salty that they took my games away.
Womp womp.
So that's my story.
Well, all right. That's unfortunate, but at the same time, thanks for taking one for the team, Kyle.
Tyler's over there laughing at me, probably. On mute. I'm a jerk. All right. So that's enough of that laughing, Tyler. Let's move on to the next thing.
All right. So next up, we've got the Extra Life talk. So this is where we're going to be streaming 24 hours on November 7th. We'll be starting at 8 in the morning and ending at 10 in the morning the following day. And we've got our full list, our schedule of what we're going to be playing. It is subject to change, as, there could be something that comes out and we're like, ooh, we really want to play that. So we'll add it to the list and maybe take something off that we just don't want on the list anymore. I don't know. We'll find out. We've still got a while to go. But anyways, if you go to extra-life.org, you can join our team. Just search the Vita Lounge. You can donate to us. Like I said, you could join the team. Or you could also just join us and play some games with us, because all the proceeds are going towards the Seattle Children's Hospital, and all we're doing is playing video games. So, I mean, there you go. Pretty simple. So if you have the ability to donate even just $1, it can really help out. And Kyle and I are going to have a blast playing some video games for 24 hours. Right, Kyle?
Absolutely, Tyler. I'm hyped.
Yeah.
It's going to be sweet.
I hope I don't get
Tyler's
sick.
gonna be snoring on the gameplay video. It's gonna be awesome.
It's gonna be great. Are you gonna record anything?
Yeah, I'll record what I can. Obviously, I only have the PlayStation TV, so some things don't work and I can't record them. But I'll do what I can, and we'll be streaming all of it, right, Tyler?
Yeah, all of it will be live streamed.
Well, there you go. So. Lots of ways to see it, and you'll be able to see it from 2 different perspectives if you catch the videos. So
yeah,
that'll be cool.
All right, well, that's all we've got for talking points. So let's jump into that listener mail. And first up, it's kind of a long one, so let's get right through it. Guys, I'm tired. I'm tired of asking these companies over and over again on Twitter for Japanese localizations. Phantasy Star Nova, God Eater 2, Rage Gaunt, Yoru no Naikuni. Square has a huge slate of upcoming games that, looking at their track record, won't come west for Vita. All of these are fantastic-looking games that many Vita owners in the West want. I understand the Vita isn't selling great in the West, but many of us love Japanese games, and Exceed, NISA, Atlas, Axis, Koei Tecmo, etc. seem to be doing well enough with their localizations to continue supporting the console. My questions are, why not use Kickstarter for the localizations? What are the downsides? These companies can judge demand easier, much like how Sony recently did with Shenmue 3. It gives Vita owners a chance to put their money where their mouth is, and if funded, of course, then everyone gets to buy the game. I understand that there may be some backlash if a huge company like Square Enix uses crowdfunding for their games, but I'd rather that than not get the game over here at all. Thanks for the great podcast, Gary H. So, Kyle, elaborate.
All right, so why not use Kickstarter for localizations? Well, it's not like it hasn't been done before. It's definitely been done before. But as they're kind of, mentioning here, there might be some backlash for bigger companies. I can understand Shenmue, because it's kind of one of those things that it wouldn't have happened at all if they hadn't kickstarted it. So that's kind of a different situation than some localizations, which are not that it's not happening at all. It's just it's not easy for you to get or play, which is a whole nother ballgame. Um, but yeah, it's one of those things where if you kind of start having all these big companies jumping onto Kickstarter, you're going to flood kind of the Kickstarter market with all these games that, yeah, people are going to want them, but at the same time, they should probably be getting funding the way that they were getting funding, because you're then kind of mudding the market for all these other little games, or maybe not as well-known games or well-known faces that deserve the attention and are legitimately on Kickstarter to get their game that wouldn't otherwise come into fruition. So it's kind of a hard situation to work your way around. And I think we've talked about this before, but my idea is that they should have some sort of vote with your money system. So not necessarily Kickstarter, but maybe like a pre-order system. So you say, okay, you have 2 months to pre-order this game, and if a certain amount of pre-orders is met, then we cash out our money and go make the game or make it happen or something like that. I definitely think that's a better way to go, and it wouldn't kind of put those people who are on Kickstarter out. But that's just my idea, and I don't know of anybody who knows about it, so we're just sit over here with good ideas and nothing happening. What do you think, Tyler?
Yeah, I pretty much agree with everything you're saying. There's a lot that goes into all this type of stuff, and you never know, but yeah, I don't know if Kickstarter is the best, but it also can be really good. And I guess there's not really too much more I can say about it. Kyle answered this pretty well, so I think I'm just going to ride the coattails of Kyle's answer and slide on into the next question.
Alrighty then. So this next one's from RK128, and he says, "Hello, keep up the great work, and I hope you can answer my questions." So there's a multiple. First up, are you excited about Mega Man Legends landing on the North American PlayStation Network? I love the Mega Man series, and I'm very excited to finally try out Mega Man Legends after not having the means to play it for so long. So I'm going to do these piecemeal. What do you think, Tyler? What do you think about Mega Man Legends?
I'm not excited for myself personally, but I think it's always good to see people excited for their games coming over and being able to be purchased on the North American PlayStation Network. So, not for me, but happy to see people getting what they want.
All right, well, I'm going to ride your coattails on that one and agree with what you said there. I'm not a big Mega Man fan anymore. I played a lot of them back in the day when they were on, retro consoles. But I haven't really dipped my toes in lately, and the whole Mighty Number 9 thing has kind of soured my taste for those kind of games, so I'm probably not jumping in. Plus, it's not a Vita game, and I gotta look forward instead of looking back, so it's not gonna happen. But I'm excited for everyone else who's looking forward to it, so yay you.
Alright, next one, Kyle.
Alright, number 2 here. What are your thoughts on Euro no Naikuni not coming to Vita in North America and Europe? I am personally annoyed with this, as the Vita version looks to run okay from footage from the Japanese version that recently came out. Now, we talked about this a little bit earlier, but what are your thoughts, Tyler?
Yeah, it's a bit frustrating. It kind of seems like a bit of laziness where, I mean, they've already got the Vita version in Japan, and they're making a US or a English version for the PS4, so why can't you just get all that stuff over onto the Vita and be like, yep, here you go, guys. Yay. But instead they're completely just canning it and saying it's just PS4, so it sucks. But you never know. Didn't they mention that they're looking into it because a lot of people were pretty upset about this?
Yeah, well, they announced that the PlayStation 4 version was coming over, but not the Vita version. And then a whole bunch of Vita lovers like us responded and said, "What the hell?" And they came back and said, "Okay, we'll look into it, but that's not a yes, and it's not something's gonna happen or anything like that. That's all we'll look into it kind of thing." So
Yeah.
we'll see, But yeah, as for my thoughts on it, yeah, I'm disappointed. I think they definitely, as you said, have the pieces. They just need to put it together and get it over here. And I think even if, especially with this, where they have the pieces, when they're in this kind of situation, they shouldn't just, okay, well, we're not putting it out. We should at least get a digital version. I know people will kind of bitch that I said at least a digital version because most people want physical versions and they bitch about that, but I'd rather be able to play the game on digital than not be able to play it at all.
Exactly.
That's just me. So yeah.
All right. Next question.
All right. Next question. Number 3, and this is the hump question, and not about humping. Any PS1 classics you want to see on the PlayStation Network that haven't been on it yet? What do you think, Tyler?
Not really. I mean, I've played enough of what I've wanted to, and I didn't really play that much to begin with when I was younger. I was pretty young back when the PS1 came out. So the games I played were like Final Fantasy and Crash Bandicoot and Spyro and stuff like that. Which kind of does suck that Crash Bandicoot and Spyro aren't on there, playable on Vita, that is. But yeah, I pretty much got everything I want that I can think of, really. So, what about you, Kyle?
Yeah, so I'm kind of in the same situation as you as far as my wants. So everything that I kind of wanted for PlayStation 1, I have, and I actually have kind of either on my Vita or on my computer ready to play. So I'm not really looking for them to bring anything else. That said, I know there's lots of games that people are, would love to have. So they should definitely jump into that back catalog and pull some games if they can. But yeah, it's not for me. I gotta look forward because I already have too big of a backlog for Vita. If I start diving into retro consoles and stuff like that, my life is gonna be over.
Exactly.
So yeah. All right, moving on. Number 4 here. Do you think that Sony killed the Vita? An article from Kotaku came out recently that stated that they feel that the Vita failed due to Sony, not other factors. I feel that Sony has a big role in the Vita not doing well at retail, but I would love your thoughts on the matter. What do you think, Tyler?
Oh yeah. We've talked about it a lot on the podcast of all the things they could have done to better the chances of the Vita surviving, at least in the public view. I mean, for me, it's doing just fine. But anyways, yeah, they did. There's just so much they could have done, and they gave up way too early. And they did every once in a while try, but they never followed it up. It'd be like, here's a bone, and then they'd be like, oh yeah, we still own you. That's right, we forgot. Here's another bone. Months later, oh yeah, and, it's just the same thing. So, yeah, bleh. Kyle, what do you got?
Well, yeah, Sony killed the Vita. Gonna have to agree with you there. Although it was kind of like they smothered it and didn't really kill it. They just, made it this thing that can't really get any air. The big thing really for Sony especially is marketing. They didn't throw any marketing at this. There's still a ton of people who have no idea what a Vita is, and the bottom line is people can't buy a console they don't know anything about or even know it exists. You take a Vita anywhere, and people are always saying, "Is that a PSP?" Which just goes to show you how well they could have done, because PSP's market share was quite big, and people still know what a PSP is. So it's just one of those things where it's like they made it, and then right before launch they were like, "Oh, we'll just let it out there and see what happens," and then they completely forgot about it, and then we get these little glimmers of hope now and then, as you said. And it's not really Sony directly. It's like, one person in Sony here and there that goes, "Oh, I see potential in this Vita thing," and tries to help it out, and then Sony doesn't help them help it out, and yeah, it's just not a good situation. It's definitely one of those things where, had it been handled better, it would have went over better, even if nobody had poured anything extra in it as far as games in that first, little while. The marketing would have gone so far, and they completely skipped it. I don't know what the hell they were thinking. So yeah, shit show. Moving on. The last question, number 5. With Gravity Rush and Tearaway coming to PlayStation 4, how do you feel about Vita exclusives coming to PlayStation 4? On NeoGAF, many people want games like Uncharted, Golden Abyss, and Freedom Wars to come to PS4 in the future, and that bothers me a bit, as they could have just gotten a Vita or PlayStation TV to play most of them. Sorry for all the questions, and thank you for having the time to look at them all. Have a great day, and happy gaming, from RK128. So, what do you think, Tyler?
Yeah, it's very frustrating. If you listen to our previous episodes back when TGS happened and Gravity Rush Remastered and Gravity Rush 2 were announced all PS4, it's just like you just put your head down and you're like, I hate you, Sony. I hate you so much. We had one thing. No, we didn't have just one. But anyways, I mean, just looking at Kat, she always seems like the Vita mascot, and now she's going to PS4. It just sucks. So, like you said, I mean, why didn't they just get a Vita or PS TV? I mean, most of these games, if they were to get the Vita and those games, they would be probably saving money in the long run, because the games on the PS4 are going to be probably up in the 40s, maybe 50s, especially with Gravity Rush 2, since it's going to be a new game, but then again, it's not coming to Vita, so that would make sense. But like Tearaway, Unfolded, and Gravity Rush Remastered, and potentially any other games they decide to snag, they're going to be probably in the 40s, but right now those games are like $15-20, depending on where you look. So I mean, you could save some money, but hey, it's frustrating. We've talked about it a lot, but it never will be the same, ever. Kyle, what do you think?
I don't know how the math adds up to saving some money.
Hey, I think it will.
I'll say that these things were built with Vita kind of in mind. Not necessarily they started on Vita. Gravity Rush actually started on PS3. But when they kind of got tweaked and you got that final product, they were geared towards the Vita. And to throw them on the PS4, doesn't matter how well you tweak the controls and all this stuff, it's just not going to feel the same. And I think that's kind of losing something. So I think there are always going to be games that, for what content is there, because obviously they're going to add things to get you to try and buy the game again, they are best on Vita. So that's just my opinion, and I haven't played most of these games on PS4 because I prefer the Vita versions and love those already, so I don't see the point. Don't necessarily take that as the Lord's gospel or whatever, but that's just my opinion. As for things like Uncharted, Golden Abyss, and Freedom Wars coming to PS4, they shouldn't be taking away our exclusives like this. As Tyler said, Kat was kind of a mascot of the Vita, and I think you could even say the same for Atois and what's the other one's name?
Iota.
Iota, there you go. So like I mean, they're very recognizable faces as far as the Vita community goes. If you show somebody one of those people, they pretty much know what you're talking about and can explain the game to you. So it's not like these characters are coming out of nowhere. And I think especially with the Gravity Rush situation where they're actually taking the game from us, it's not like they're giving us a version, which it hurts when they do that, but I can deal with it. They're completely taking it away, and that's just
It's wrong.
it's one of those things that make me shake my head and go, Sony, what the fuck are you thinking?
It's unjust.
So yeah, it's salt, Tyler.
It's a lot of salt. It's an unhealthy amount of salt.
It's like we took a box of salt and just shoved it all in our mouth.
Yep, I can taste it already.
So yeah, that's how we feel. So hopefully we answered your questions, RK128, and thank you for your question. Let's move on, Tyler. We got one more here.
All right, from Dragon Awesome Toad on Twitter at LKRJC. He asks, I'm starting to make a 3D indie racing installment. What do you want to see in game?
Now, I think this might be a case of not enough information because there's a lot of 3D racing type games that you could have, and they play all kind of differently. So it's hard to say what you would want from the outside without any further information. Though I will say customization. I always like when you can customize your car and how it drives and all those kind of aspects to make things kind of more to your liking and to show off your own personality and blah blah blah. I like that kind of stuff. So if you're going to make a racing game where you can see the cars and they're decently built cars, not just like blocks or something like that, I definitely want customization. What do you think, Tyler?
Yeah, I think I'm going to ride your coattails again and agree with that one. Since there's not really that much information, I'm struggling to think of anything I could say that would benefit you. So definitely, if you get the chance, send us some more information and we could give you a better idea of what us personally would like. But you never know. Yeah, customization. I like it. Well, all right. That would be all the questions we've got. Thank you, everyone, for your questions. We would be going to guess that game, but clearly Liam is not here. He's afraid of losing too much, so I understand. We're going to go to check this out. Kyle, what are we checking out this week?
All right. Well, I've got two check this out for you this week. Kind of odd, but they're good, so you should listen up. First of all, we've got Ridge Racer. And now, I know you're going to say you've heard Ridge Racer is crap and you've heard it's expensive and blah, blah, blah. And it is kind of expensive because you're going to want to get the two DLC packs, the silver and the gold, to kind of complete the game. They've kind of piecemealed it out to you. But if you can find a copy cheap, physical copy, I'd go for it and then grab those DLC packs. And if you've got the extra cash and you want to buy the whole thing full price, go ahead because it's worth it as far as I'm concerned. It's one of those games that's kind of overlooked, but it's a really kind of enjoyable racer just to kind of mess around on. It's that game that I go to and I'm like, oh, it's a lazy day and I gotta drive around or do something, play some games. It's one of those games. It's up there with Hot Shots Golf, and I definitely need to play more, but they took away my ability to play it on the PlayStation TV, so that's less time for me. But you should get it because it's a good game. And the second thing I want to recommend that you check out, and this one's definitely not for everybody, and that's the God Eater Resurrection demo. So you'll obviously need to be on a Japanese account for that. There's a tutorial on our forum, and we actually also have a tutorial video on the Vita Lounge's Lounge Play channel now. So if you're looking to figure out how to get between accounts, there's a tutorial there for you. But yeah, it's one of those things where you kind of have to feel it and you kind of have to kind of play around with it a bit to know whether you're going to like it, because it's a hunting game. But it very much feels like Freedom Wars, and it has that whole gun and melee weapon combo thing going on, and the whole item drop thing going on as well. You get those little orbs that you find around the levels that you can get items from. So it's very familiar if you've played Freedom Wars, although you don't have that maneuver gear, so you're not as mobile, but it's still pretty fun, and it's definitely unique, so I recommend that you go grab that. I believe it's 2.3 gigabytes, so make sure you have enough room on your card for it, but yeah, it's good. It's worth trying, and I don't know, maybe we'll get it one day. Maybe. Hopefully. So yeah, those are two kind of completely off the wall things as far as I'm concerned, that you should check out. Hopefully you'll enjoy one of them.
Well, all right. So that's pretty much all we've got for everyone, right? It's time to get out of here?
Absolutely, Tyler.
Let's do that. So if you've got listener mail or comments, contact us via media services at thevitalounge.net. You can find everything we talked about today at thevitalounge.net. The news, reviews, featured articles, the store updates, podcast, a community forum, and a magazine, both digital and physical. Support the site and get physical copies of the magazine via patreon.com/thevitalounge. You can follow us on Twitter and Facebook. On Twitter, at The Vita Lounge, I'm at Mr. PSVITA Reviews. Kyle is at Teflon Tactics. And on Facebook, just search The Vita Lounge. We're also on YouTube, youtube.com/loungeplay. And Kyle is going crazy with all his videos, so you definitely need to get up on there and subscribe and check out what he's been doing. Definitely. Do it.
Absolutely. And there's some God Eater Resurrection demo gameplay up right now. Ooh, it's sweet. Go look at it.
Well, all right. The podcast is also available on iTunes, Podbean, Stitcher, YouTube, and via direct download on the site. So subscribe to us on those platforms, rate us, and let us know how we're doing. And that is the Vita Cast, episode 96. It's time to get out of here.
Linko Endo.
I see what you did there.